Boom! We're not doing the original today. We are adding a little spice. That's meant to be salt, but spice. Now, not that there's anything wrong with the original. I just wanted to do this one first, as no one has covered this whiskey yet. And I've had a request from you lovely viewers to drink it, try it, give my thoughts on it. Currently an Irish only release, and hopefully with plans down the road at some stage to expand. Let's drink some whiskey. Welcome to Whiskey and Whiskey. I'm the Whiskey Chaser Brian here in Christie's Bar, Kilkenny. I hope you're keeping well. So, like I already mentioned, an Irish only release, relatively new. No one has a video up yet on YouTube about it. Not one review online. A unique expression that takes the original and adds a little bit more oomph, if you will. And it has a pretty interesting backstory to it. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, is Paddy Share Irish Whiskey. Paddy Share Irish Whiskey. Now, a little bit of a backstory incoming. Sit down, relax, pour a dram, and listen up. Originally produced by Cork Distilleries Company back in the late 1800s and originally named Old Irish Whiskey, it wasn't until a young man from County Cork came on board as what we would have been the original kind of brand ambassador back in the day, most widely known back then as kind of a sales rep. His name, of course, was Patrick J. O'Flaherty, or Paddy O'Flaherty. Now, good old Paddy J back then used to travel around the towns of Cork, introducing people to the Cork Distillery Company's whiskey, often giving away whiskey for free and buying whiskey for people in pubs, putting it on his expense account for the distillery. Now, I did hear somewhere recently through word of mouth that he had a ridiculous amount of money on his expense account from buying people in Cork, small ones, right? But that's how he became so well known back then. So he was so famous for this that when the bars called up the distillery looking for cases of whiskey, they started referring to it as, give us a case of that Paddy whiskey or Paddy's whiskey. Give us one or two. And that's how it kind of got a little bit of steam and momentum behind it. Now, around the time of Paddy's retirement in 1912, the distillery, as a mark of respect and not of a cap, wanted to bring out the whiskey under his name and subsequently bought the rights to use his name. And ever since then, it has been known as Paddy Irish Whiskey. That's the backstory. Now, Paddy, the actual whiskey itself, has always been distilled in County Cork, moving eventually to being distilled in Midleton, County Cork, who still produces the liquid for the blend today. However, the brand Paddy was bought by Sazerac in 2016. Now, Sazerac, as of early 2022, have recently bought the Lochgill distillery in County Sligo, or is it Leitrim? Sligo? Those in the know and know a little bit about Lochgill distillery would understand that they currently just produce single malt Irish whiskey, and as of this video, there are no plans to integrate a column still into the distillery. However, the distillery is absolutely massive. And Sazerac are a huge drinks brand. So to be honest, I would imagine it's only a matter of time before distilling moves from Midleton up to Lochgill, where the operations will become much, much bigger. Currently, they have some form of an agreement with Midleton Distillery to be able to supply the juice to be able to blend this whiskey. It's only a matter of time before that runs out. Now, the original Paddy Irish Whiskey at the time of Sazerac takeover was the 4th best-selling Irish whiskey brand in the world, and somewhat of a favorite here at home. The original blend is a much lighter blend. It's not like this now at 40% ABV. This bad boy here is pushing the bounds at 47%. Yes. So the 47%, right? So this was blended by Buffalo Trace's Drew Mabel of Sazerac globally as well. He kind of blends all of their drinks. And when Drew was asked, why did you settle at an ABV of 47%? His reply was because the blend tasted the best at this ABV. That was his answer. That's why. No science, flavor. So the original Paddy and this Paddy are not all that different. The original Paddy blend is a blend of all three styles of Irish whiskey. So you have pot still, malt, and grain. Now I am told that from tastings, it is heavier on the grain and malt side of things, as is this one. However, this Paddy share here has more 6-year-old malt whiskey in it than the original. So if you were to take the original Paddy, which has whiskey roughly in it between 5 and 7 years of age, that's the word on the street anyway, add more 6-year-old malt to the mix and then vat all that together and leave it in a sherry cask for roughly 4 months, if I remember correctly, from the tastings, then you get this. So what this whiskey is not, just straight out the box, it's not a sherry bomb. It retains the DNA of the older Paddy, for which many Irish people loved. It's just jacking it up a little bit with the older malt and a sherry finishing to kind of round out the edges. A very respectful 47% ABV, which I absolutely love to see. It shows that distilleries and brands are listening more and more to the consumers here at home who prefer a punchier, stronger whiskey. Currently, and I say currently because I'm imagining down the road that there are going to be plans to expand this. This is an Irish only release, right? It's only a matter of time before this makes it to markets around the world. That's coming in due course. I mean, it has to be. I know Sazerac just bought Lochgill Distillery, so you could imagine they kind of have a lot going on right now. And I said I couldn't see this remaining an Irish only release. It's not a batch product either, which, you know, people here at home will be happy to see. It is a core range. Continuous release product is what I remember hearing from the tastings that I've been at, which has been a while, but yeah, so it's here to stay. Let's get this bad boy or girl, 2022, into the glass. And we pour. Right, just gonna do my thing, let it breathe there. To sum up, 47% core range product by Sazerac, currently produced in Middleton, County Cork. Grain, malt, pot still, blended whiskey, apparently aged between 5 to 7 years with an added 6-year-old malt in this. Heavier on the grain side of things too, as I said already, and finished for roughly 3 to 4 months in the sherry casks, just to give it a little bit more character. Roughly about the 50-euro mark for this mid-premium blend. That's a thing now. Giving it a couple of minutes to kind of breathe a little bit. Let's do some tasting notes. On the nose. There's not a whole lot coming off the nose straight away. There's a little bit of a grainy note, a little bit of alcohol. Quite light, it's coming across as quite thin. A little bit of hay in there, a little bit of honey, touch of caramel. A little bit of chocolate on the nose and a touch, a very light touch of almonds, or like a nuttiness. That's obviously from the sherry. There's almost an almond flake kind of note there. Like you get those bag of almond slices or flakes, whatever they're called. Yeah, grain. Comes across as punchy, does, that 47% making itself known. The alcohol is there. All right, let's get it on the palate. Let's launch it. Plenty of spice coming through there. It is on the creamier side, which I'm surprised at on the palate. Plenty of caramel, plenty of honey again. One that stands out a little bit is milk chocolate. And then a touch of hazelnut at the end. Let's just have another little sip. Let's launch it. A little bit of spirit there. There's a little bit of oak kind of intertwining, like kind of playing on there. And a touch of marzipan as well. Proper marzipan. Grain element come there. Not overly bitter or anything like that. Mellows out a little bit on the finish. Some hang time on the finish though, we'll say that. Yeah, it's hanging on there for dear life. In fairness, it's not going anywhere. So milk chocolate, marzipan, a little bit of oak, a little bit of nuttiness, almonds. Not overly sweet, not overly dry. it takes a little bit of time to get this going, I'll be honest with you, on the palate and on the nose. More so on the nose. The palate kind of kicks off your caramels and honeys straight away, kind of opens that up. Yeah, to be totally transparent, I have had this before a couple of times. It's unobtrusive, right? It's quite a simple blend. Really is unoffensive. It's not absolutely blow your mind amazing, and it's not absolute garbage. It is a very simple, unoffensive drinker. It does take a little while to get going on the nose. And it's the first time that I've had this whiskey in this kind of a setting, a closed off setting. There's no one else here. I'm not influenced outside. It's the first whiskey I've had today. Thank God, because it's only 8 o'clock, half 8 in the morning. It's okay. Look, I like my whiskeys a little bit more punchier in terms of flavor profile, and not as much kind of spice coming through on it. But there is a reason why this is the 4th best selling, or this brand has the 4th best selling whiskey, Irish whiskey in the world. And it's because people love it, maybe for its lightness, you know? Not everybody's the same as I am, or some of the drinkers, the whiskey drinkers that I drink with, like those robust flavors. A lot of people just like a nice, simple kind of blend. And yeah, there you have it. Now, to be fair, not all people think alike, or even like me. It's from, you know, the tastings that I've been to with the majority of whiskey drinkers really rate this. They really like this. And it just goes to show how different palates and styles and preferences play on certain whiskeys. Now, price point. It's right where it kind of should be with the rest of the blends at this age, although the 47% ABV does give it a step up from the rest. So more alcohol for the same money roughly as some of the blends we have on the show. Would I buy a bottle? No, I would not. And that's not because I don't like it. It's just because there's too much competition in and around that price point. Right, so that's it. It's here in Christie's. And also, Jesus, I keep forgetting about our scratch off poster that we produced. It's also on the scratch off poster. Where I put it, I don't know. Excuse me. It is on our scratch off poster. Paddy Share top, yes. We hang this up. Now you can pick one of these up for yourselves if you want. I leave a 20% discount code down below in the comment section. Pick it up on our website, the Whiskey Shelf. Plenty of other stuff up there as well, but use Whiskey Chaser 2022 if you want to get 20% off of that. Right, like I said, that's it. Thanks to Christie's for the dram and hospitality. We have something big coming in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Trust me. Oh, until next week, be sure to keep it Irish. Sláinte.